Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back. It's Travis here with JT Wealth. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, specifically the people buying into Bitcoin, its current price, and the pending death cross that seems to be on everybody's mind. So let's get into it. Alright, like I said, welcome back everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you find something of value in today's video, and if you do, please remember to hit the like button and remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So, like I said in the intro, today's video is going to be about Bitcoin and the pending death cross. So we're going to take a look at exactly when this death cross is possibly going to occur, when the analysts are saying that they anticipate the date will be, and then we're going to take a look at some other kind of notable death cross timelines and stocks so we can look at what occurred to those stocks after their death cross. And then just kind of quickly, we're going to talk about how the SEC seems to be continuously postponing any Bitcoin ETFs from being created and the spike in Bitcoin and crypto users in the UK. So that is the main focal points of today's video. Let's get right into it. So here you can see the first article off CoinDesk, and that's Bitcoin holders become net buyers for the first time since October as a death cross looms. And what you can see from this image here is basically that the number of Bitcoin hodlers and their position is finally starting to actually increase. So the first positive reading since late October. All of your red lines are people kind of just unloading their positions even as the price of Bitcoin increased. But now we're finally seeing people start repurchasing back into Bitcoin at a higher rate than people are selling out of it. So it seems to me that the investors with a more long-term approach to Bitcoin are buying and holding it even as they anticipate possible price declines. This, of course, probably shouldn't shock you, because if you thought Bitcoin was good when it was over $60,000, possibly going up to $100,000, you can buy into Bitcoin today at about $36,000 a share. Obviously, you don't have to buy a full share, but that's a significant price decrease from the last high we were dealing with a couple months ago. So in the last couple of weeks, the long-term holder positions of Bitcoin have increased from 11 million to 11.6 million. But people not just holding, but buying into more Bitcoin positions doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see a Bitcoin rally. For example, the indicator remained positive for most of 2018, which was a negative year for Bitcoin, and early 2019 when the cryptocurrency remained sidelined below $5,000. Bullish mood returned to the market in the second quarter of that year, finally pushing the cryptocurrency to 13,880 by the end of June. Bitcoin then scaled that peak in October of 2020 after a gap of 16 months. During that period, the cryptocurrency was mainly in a bearish trend, falling from 13 to 4,000 between August 2019 and March 2020. Hodlers were net buyers through and during the subsequent recovery and began distributing coins in November. But here's where we get into the death cross. Analysts are worried that we're going to see more short-term selling in the Bitcoin price as the 50-day and 200-day simple moving averages are set to converge, creating the death cross. Kraken research has showed that death crosses previously either coincided with a sell-off in the 2 or 3 couple of days after the bearish crossover or the death cross, or a actual bearish macro trend in the market. Alright, so now let's take a look at some other stocks that have went through a death cross and how that impacted their share price. So here's a list of death cross examples from 2020 and 2019, and you can see that Hertz had theirs in March 17. At the time, the share price was $7.50. That bearish trend occurred for 3 months, and afterwards their low price was 66 cents. Then you can see Intercept Pharmaceuticals, NGL, United Airlines on February 3rd. It was $75.59 a month only, and it was down to $20.77. I think that may have been a little bit more of a kind of Rona virus issue there, but who knows. ExxonMobil, $73 down to $31.72 in 9 months. Wells Fargo, $40.82 to $22.95. AMC, $14.67. 16 months later, it was down to $2.11. Obviously, we know both AMC and GameStop have recovered completely, but these are examples of death crosses causing the stock to significantly decrease in value over a period of time after the death cross. Alright, so when do analysts perceive this death cross to occur? And this charts off quantified crypto, and it says Currently, we estimate June 22nd through June 24th as the date range when that 50-day moving average will cross below the 200-day moving average. So this was put out on June 9th, but it was the most recent example I could find. So that's basically saying in the next 4 to 6 days, we could theoretically be seeing that death cross occur, and then the Bitcoin price could potentially go on a downtrend from where it's at today. Now, me personally, I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily have a problem with buying Bitcoin at a lower price because I do believe in its ability to hold value in a long-term position over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. Alright, so now let's touch on the SEC's tentativeness to continue being involved in Bitcoin on all different levels. And specifically, this article from CoinDesk is talking about the ETFs. So the SEC again delays VanEck Bitcoin ETF decision. So this actually occurred on Wednesday, and that's when the SEC regulators declined to pass a ruling on whether or not they were going to allow the Bitcoin ETF to proceed. So the SEC takes roughly anywhere from 45 to 240 days to make a decision on any new prospective issues, but this is the second time that they have postponed the VanEck ETF Bitcoin decision. And a lot of people are saying that the approval of a Bitcoin ETF on the US markets is the cryptocurrency's white whale, and everybody just can't wait for this to actually get approved. Now here's a quote from Nathan Gerasi, the president of the ETF store, as he was talking to CoinDesk in an interview. He says, in rejecting numerous Bitcoin ETF applications, the SEC has continually stated concerns over fraud and manipulation in the underlying Bitcoin spot market. The SEC is worried that they don't have proper surveillance over crypto exchanges and therefore can't ensure adequate investor protections are in place. And I think you all know that regulation and their ability to track and kind of protect against any fraud type issues within Bitcoin has been a huge sticking point for the government. But I do feel like they're getting a little bit closer here because as we've seen in the last month or so, after we had the Russian hacks that caused a lot of Bitcoin to be used as ransomware payoffs, the feds managed to recover, not only track, find the wallet, but recover millions of dollars in Bitcoin payment for that ransomware issue. So obviously they have managed to figure out ways around this, and even though it's a completely deregulated issue, the feds seem to be able to track it and recover it. So we may be getting closer to them not being so worried about these issues, as obviously cash is being used for every criminal thing known to man, so worrying about Bitcoin seems a little bit silly in that regard. Alright, now on to some positive news from the UK. So UK regulators find 2.3 million adults now hold crypto, and that's according to the Financial Conduct Authority out there in the UK. So UK regulator, the Financial Conduct Authority, estimates 2.3 million adults now hold crypto assets, which is up from 1.9 million last year. Now, as well as ownership of crypto, awareness has also grown. Some 78% of adults have now heard of crypto assets, the regulator's preferred term, up from 73% last year. In terms of reputation, 38% of crypto users see it as a gamble. That's down from 47% last year, while increasing numbers see the assets as either a complement or an alternative to mainstream investments. So the day-to-day retail investors across the pond are starting to get even more and more involved in Bitcoin and in cryptocurrencies, and I think that's a trend we're seeing across the board. Now, lastly, let's take a look at Goldman Sachs jumping back into the Bitcoin foray with futures and new liquidity. And this article came out of Bloomberg, and it's Novogratz' Galaxy provides liquidity on Goldman Bitcoin futures. Galaxy Digital Holdings will serve as liquidity provider on Bitcoin futures for Goldman Sachs Group as the securities firm re-enters the cryptocurrency markets. The digital asset firm, started by billionaire investor Michael Novogratz, a former Goldman partner, will provide futures block liquidity on CME Group for the Bitcoin cash-settled products, according to a statement. Now, liquidity providers typically make markets by agreeing to buy and sell assets at certain prices, and Goldman is restarting its crypto trading desk to help clients such as hedge funds deal in publicly traded futures tied to Bitcoin. Earlier this week, Goldman said it plans to offer options and futures trading in Ether, the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin. This is the first step in what will be a long journey together as they grow in crypto and as we expand in more traditional space. Now, Galaxy is currently only a Canadian traded stock or fund, but they do look to list on a US exchange this year. And one of the quotes from Jason Urban, the Galaxy's kind of head of trading, was pretty spot on. And he basically paraphrased it as this. He said that obviously Bitcoin is an extremely volatile asset, but so is oil. And we recognize that it's extremely volatile, but we also recognize that it's the right asset to be involved in right now. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. We talked about the bearish cross. We looked at when that's pending, when they think it's going to happen. We talked about the SEC getting involved in this ETF possibilities, the UK holders and followers of Bitcoin growing, as well as Goldman Sachs re-entering the realm of Bitcoin and just kind of getting involved in this huge, massive movement towards a more accepted form of payment via cryptocurrency. So please let me know what you thought of the video down below. Give me any thoughts you've got on Bitcoin, how much you're looking to load up if this does go down in price. What's your future outlook on the Bitcoin price? Some people have said 100,000, some people have said 500,000. I don't know if they were joking, but that's a massive number. So as always, guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. Remember, everything I talked about today is just for information and entertainment purposes only. It is not designed for you to purchase or sell based on anything we talked about in today's video. So thank you so much again for checking out the video. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic federal holiday Friday. I'm not at work today, so I'm excited. Thanks again, guys. Take it easy.